Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, welcome to a new video, album review, Post Malone, Hollywood's Bleeding. So this is the latest album from Post Malone, Austin Malone. What else can I say about him that hasn't been said already? Made a splash back in 2016. 2015, I can't even remember right now. White Iverson was topping the charts, like he blew up, overnight fame, overnight success, and he released his debut mixtape album thing, Stoney, which garnered some good and bad criticism, and it does have its criticisms. I wouldn't say it's a terrible record, but I do think it has its flaws. Then he released Beer Bongs and Bentleys back in 2018, which garnered more attention, more positive attention, and now we're at Hollywood's Bleeding. And let me be honest, Post Malone is someone that I found interesting, at least at the start of his career, and I really just find myself disappointed with Hollywood's Bleeding. For one, this has a problem that a lot of Post Malone albums have, all three of them, is that it's so bloated. It doesn't need to be 18 tracks long. It doesn't need to be that long. You can cut about half of the songs off of this album and it would be way better than the end result you have right here. And look, I'm someone that appreciates mainstream rap and hip-hop, but this seems like the biggest cash grab of the year. A lot of the songs follow such a very generic, uninteresting formula that just doesn't pique my interest at all whatsoever. Two things about this album that aggravate me. One, you have songs where Post Malone is the sole feature of the track, where either he's delivering a very moody acoustic piece or a very moody rap piece. And the second thing about this album that I find annoying is that if it's not the first thing, it's this. And that he fills his tracks up with features that are very lackluster and very uninteresting. There's no in between. There's not a song on here that I can look at and absolutely adore. There are songs on this album that I can look at and appreciate and I like them, but I am not going head over heels for any song on this album. But maybe that Ozzy Osbourne feature, that's a pretty cool feature. The tracks where he is at least being better than par, or at least par, are songs like Circles, which is an acoustic ballad that has a very dreamy production behind it. It's smooth, it's glistening, it's very nice, and I really do like that song in the context of this record, if this record is even contextual. Nothing really about this album makes it one whole piece. It doesn't seem to have a meaning, it doesn't seem to have a concept. I'm not saying all albums have to have a concept, but this just kind of feels like a compilation rather than a cohesive project. Look, I'm not looking for another, like, Good Kid, Mad City, To Pimp a Butterfly. I'm just looking for an album that has, like, a theme to it. And most albums usually have themes to them. But this one just kind of feels like a, I'll say it again, cash grab. I mean, you have the Halsey feature, you have the Young Thug feature, you have the Future feature, Ozzy Osbourne, for hell's sake, DaBaby, Meek Mill, SZA, which I think is one of the better songs on here. Young Thug is also on 2 songs, the other being his tiny doppelganger. The other being his tiny doppelganger, Lil Baby. Lil Baby is just not interesting. The only way he sounded interesting was on a feature that he did where the other artist sounded really bad. I think a good chunk of features on this album are very mediocre. There's nothing to write home about. There's nothing extravagant. There's nothing outlandish about these features. I mean, Ozzy Osbourne gives a good feature, but I think that's like the best feature on here next to SZA. And I mean, SZA does a really good feature on her track. The only thing that I find interesting about this album is that a song from the Spider-Man Far From Home soundtracks on here, Like, I get it's a Post Malone song, but this was released like last year with a movie. Why is it on here? It doesn't need to be on here. It's just repetitive. It's also annoying that it says Sunflower, Spider-Man, oh, it's Into the Spider-Verse. My bad, Not Far From Home, my bad, I apologize. And talking about features on this album, I think the Young Thug feature isn't that good. I don't really like Young Thug as an artist. I just find his style of rapping to be not interesting, not appealing to me. And while I can see what this track has going for it, I like the chorus that Post Malone delivers on this track. I think this track is just ruined by the Young Thug feature. I'm not the biggest fan of this song. I'm not the biggest fan. But I like Circles, and I like the SZA track, and I think sometimes the songs can be okay, but this is just another disappointing record, in my opinion, from Post Malone. I know he can do better, and that's this thing that kind of makes me irritated. He can be better than just kind of doing the easiest route possible and earning the biggest amount of money that he possibly can. I want him to go above the bar that I know he can go above. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. I feel it. I feel he can do better than this. Like, after all that said and done, I mean, this isn't too offensive. It's pretty innocuous. I just found myself to be just disappointed with Post Malone. A lot of the songs are not offensive. I don't hate a track on here, but I don't love a track either. So, a C. A C would suffice. Outro. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this album down below. Let me know what albums you want me to review next, and that's it. Leave a like, comment, share, do whatever you want. Let me know how I can improve future videos down below. And thanks so much for watching. Hope to see you soon. Remember, this is only my opinion, because music is subjective.